Hey guys, it's Mash Clash here, and today we're going to be looking at a simple Python program to make with Pygame. So let's see what the program does. So it gives you a Pygame window, and then you type a word. Let's just type cat, and then press enter. Then it'll give you these buttons you can press. And then when you get enough buttons, it'll say who wins the game, and it'll start drawing a man. It will draw the full man if you fail. So in this video, we'll be learning how to create this game. So first, you need to get the Pygame library. So first, you would type Python to check if you have it, and type import Pygame. And you could do this on command line or terminal. Then if it gives you like something like this, then you're good. If it doesn't and it gives you an error, then you need to install it. And to install it, just type pip install Pygame. And this will install Pygame, but then mine's is already installed, so it took like very less time. But if it isn't, then it'll take some more time. And if that doesn't work, then you might need to install pip. And sometimes if you're on Mac like me, I have to use Python 3.7, but my default is not Python 3.7. So you're gonna need to download that if you're on Mac and then use that Python 3.7. Okay, so now let's just get started in coding it. So first, I made a new file already. It's called Hangman 1. Then I made a new Sublime text project, and I'm gonna save that into Hangman 1. And I'm gonna call it Hangman main. The reason we need this file is so that we can add our images in later parts, and I'm gonna save this. So an overview of what we're gonna do is, if you looked at our game, if you looked at the game, what we're gonna make in this video is a typing part and then the enter part. We're not gonna make these buttons and this in this video. Okay, so now let's just get started. So first we wanna import Pygame, and I didn't set it to Python. So after we import Pygame, what we want to do is we want to initialize Pygame. So initialize, and then we're going to do pygame.init. And you could put parameters in this, but we just want to get the whole Pygame library. If you just want to get certain parts, you can put parameters. And then we're going to just start with our game loop. So our game loop is actually, we're going to start with our screen. So our screen is going to be equal to pygame.display.set_mode. And then we'll just type the width and height in a tuple. So 800 by 600. And then if you run this, you could see, I ran the wrong program. 7, and then I'm just gonna drag this. Okay, and now if we run this, you can see it quickly comes and goes away. That's because our program ends before it gets here. So we're gonna just make a while loop that's true, and then we're gonna pass. If we do this, it'll stay forever, but then it won't close when we press the X button. I'm not gonna show this because it's gonna glitch crash the computer sometimes. But if you do this and you run it, it'll stay forever. And when you press the X button, it won't close because that's an event and you need to code that. So to code the part where it's going to close when you press the X button, you have to check all of the events that are happening. So we're going to put for event in pygame.events.get. I'm not sure if it's event or event, but I'm pretty sure it's events. It's event, my bad. .get. This is just going to check every single event that's happening. So if I type something, if I press something, if I click. So we're going to check if that event, the type of event is equal to pygame.quit. So basically what we're checking here is if the event here is pygame.quit. And pygame.quit is, again, when you press the X button. And when we do this, we want to break out of this loop. So you're just going to, sorry, I didn't add a comment here. But we're just going to add a variable called running equals to true. So this is basically going to check if our code is running. So running. And then here we'll just put running is equal to false. Okay? So now if we save this, it should stay. And then when we press it, it should go away. So now we basically have a window. But now we want to give our window some kind of like icon here. So if you looked before, like I do this icon is kind of weird. Like it's a Python, but we want it to show like a hangman image. So what we're gonna do to show a hangman image is we're gonna first get the hangman image. So first we'll go to flaticon.com. And then here we'll search for hangman. And in Hangman, we can see we have this image here, which is what I used. And you can click it and you can download it as 32 by 32 pixels. So let's just download that, free download. And then now we're just gonna drag it into our game file. So I'm just gonna do this and then gonna go to Hangman 1. Okay, I'm going to open this, and then I'm going to take our recent downloads, so hangman.png. Let me just take this and drag it here. And let me see what's this. So, I don't know why we have 2 here, but that's okay. And now we have that image in our file. So to set the icon of our game to that image, what we want to do is we're going to type icon and title. We're going to get into the title later. So pygame.display, because we're working with the display dot set icon, and then we want to get our image. So our image is in the Hangman 1 file. So we want to type /users, which is my computer, and then whatever it says here, which is Gupta, and then slash like the folder that it's in. As you can see, like mine's is in the desktop. And then the folder, which is Hangman 1, and then the actual image name. So the actual image name is hangman.png. And I think there's one thing wrong with this, is we have to just copy this, and then we need to create a new variable because we haven't actually loaded the image. We're just going to type pygame.image.load, and then now we loaded this image, and then we're just going to put the variable icon here. We could put this in here, but this just looks neater. Then if we run this, as you can see, this over here changed. I'm not sure if you can see it, but this icon here changed. It used to be a Python. And if you're on Windows, the icon will appear like right next to it, but on Mac, it'll appear in the bottom. So now we want to set the title of our screen. We don't want our title to be Python. We want it to be Hangman. So how we change the title is we're just going to do pygame.display.set_caption, the caption of our thing, and then we're going to call Hangman. So if we run this, as you can see, we have Hangman at the top and then this over here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to detect when the player has typed words and add it to our list. Word list. So we're going to type a variable called word. Word is going to be equal to like the word that the player 1 will type. So if we type word as a variable, and this is, by the way, our game loop. Game loops, because there's going to be multiple loops. So now we're going to, the pressing of a button is also an event. So if event.type is equal to pygame dot key down. So this basically is checking when a key is clicked down. And then now we're going to check if event dot key is not yet. We're just gonna make a list of all the letters that there are, because we need to check if a letter was pressed. So I'm just gonna copy this over here, and you can go in the description of this video and it should show you a list of all the letters. So I'm just gonna get a list of all of the letters, A through Z. Now we're gonna check in each of those list of letters for I in letters. If the letter, we're just going to name this letter because it makes it easier. We're going to check if the letter is equal to event dot Unicode. So I need to explain what Unicode is. So Unicode is basically going to tell you what the value was. So if I press P, it'll tell me P. If I press H, it'll tell me H. But this there's a difference between capital H and lowercase h. So you want the Unicode to just be a lowercase letter because all of our letters here are in lowercase. Then if it's equal, we want Word to add this letter that we have here. After we add this letter, we basically have an addition to our word. So now if I print Word, and remember you can't type spaces because space is not in our letters, we'll see that we'll get this. And if I type a word like cat, then if you go here, you can see that it got cat. Okay, so now let me quit this. Okay, now we have like a whole lot of cats. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to, if you saw the code at the start, it would show like some dashes of what we put, which is like a cool thing that I thought would be interesting to add. So now to get the dash image, again, we'll need to go to here, flaticon.com, and search up minus, which is what I searched up. And then we can get any one of these images. I'm not sure which one I picked, but I'm just going to go with this one. And 32 by 32, we're going to go 32 by 32 pixels. Free download. Okay, now we need to put this in our file. Let's see, new Finder window. Okay, so now we can just add this minus.png to our game, Hangman 1. Okay, open this and then drag this in. So now we have this minus image. Now we need to load this minus image. So to load this minus image, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do first up here, we're gonna make a very list called dash image. So we had multiple dashes, but in our file we only put one dash. So we need to have a list of all the information about this one dash. So this is the image of the dash, and then we're gonna have the X of each and every dash, and then the Y of each and every dash. Now in our actual game loop, we need to do something else up here, like we need to load the image. So we're just gonna put, we can do that down here. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this. So we're gonna add an image to dash images, which is gonna be our image, dash image dot append, Pygame dot im. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this because it's way easier to just do that. And then if we paste this and change this to minus, now we have this loaded, and each time we press a button, it will add an image to this list. Now we also need to get the X and the Y. So we need to see the starting x, and each letter we go on, the x changes. So we need a variable called number of letters to check the amount of letters and adjust the y based on that. So number of letters is equal to 0. And every time this happens, we want this to happen after here. I'll explain why in a moment. Number of letters plus equals 1. Now we have this. Now we want to add dash x plus dot append the x. So the x coordinate of this x coordinate is going to be in pixels, and basically our x coordinate is going to change and our y coordinate is going to be the same because it's going on a horizontal axis. So dash y dot append whatever x we want, and I'm not sure what x I used here, so let me just check that. Dash y dot append, and okay, that's it. Very helpful. It's 400 y value is going to be 400. So here we're just going to append 400 every time, and you'll see why I used the y value, a variable y, in the next video. This is going to be a 3-part video. The first part we're just going to do this, the basics of this, and the next part we're going to do the second loop, and in the third part we're going to fix some bugs in our code, some things that make it less like user friendly. So first we're going to append this, and then here we're just going to do number of letters, and then let's check this code again. Number of letters, and then find. Here we're just going to add, we're going to set the x coordinate. Actually, I'm not sure. We're just going to set the x coordinate to the x coordinate is going to be the number of letters times 40. So let's check it. Number of letters times 40. So because it's 32 by 32 pixels, I believe it's going to be times 40. And I'm just going to add 1 to this value because we don't want it to be on the edge. But now we need to actually load this image. So to load like this image that we have over here, we're going to create a function called show lines. Like show lines is showing all of our lines. So def show lines. So this is going to show all of our dashes. And the first thing we want to do here is we want to create some global variables. So we want to make dash x global, dash y global, number of letters global because it's not global yet, and then word global, and then number. Yeah, and that's basically all we need. So what we're going to do here now is we're going to type for I in range, number of letters. Number of letters. We want to draw our letter, our thing. So we're just going to do screen.blit. Blit is basically like drawing on the screen. Dash image. So the first parameter is the image. So dash image I, which is the range, the number, and then the x of that image, and then the next part has to be in a tuple. So the x of the image and then the y of the image. Okay. So now and then we need to call show lines here. Show lines. Okay. Now if we save this and run our Hangman game, def show lines. This doesn't have this stuff. Okay, now if we type, we get another error. Screen.blit. Saying something's wrong with our screen.blit function. So let's see. Screen.blit dash x dash y. And we need to add something here. Sorry, I didn't add it before. pygame.display.update. This will basically update our display. And now let's we also forgot to put the I value here. So let's just put the I value here. Then let's try this. Okay, so our screen is currently black, and that's because we added this display.update line, and we want to make it white, so we're just going to do screen.fill, because that will basically make our screen go white instead of not white, I guess. So screen.fill, and then we need to add the white color, so 255, 255, 255. By the way, this is RGB. So yeah. So if we do this, we should see our screen is white, and every time we type a letter, it should show up with a dash. As you can see, it went off the screen to the right, and that's something we will show in the third video, and we might have a fourth video if these get very long. Okay, so now we need to add the part where if we press the enter button, it will go on to the next one, like the next loop, like the second stage of the game. So we're just gonna put if event, you should probably know this by now, but if event type is equal to pygame.key. We're gonna put we need to put this in the for loop. If event.type equals pygame.key down, this thing, we're gonna put it in here. If event.key, so this is basically checking which key it is. If the key is pygame.key.k, which stands for key, underscore enter, or is it return? I think it's return. Return. We're just gonna make running is equal to false. This will also quit the program, but we can add another while loop after. And you might be thinking this is also running equals false, and we'll address that in the next video. And this number of letters needs to be in here. And now if we delete this, and we type, and enter, it should close the screen. So thank you for watching, and you can look forward to the next videos, which are going to be coming soon. And okay, bye.